So let me give sort of a big announcement. I promised you all to have a big announcement. I have been working on a project of late to try to bring a better local news source to Northern Virginia. And so this project has been about how we can better serve the community with information on what's going on at the state and local level. And as I explored it, I think there's been a lot of startups of late of online only. And online only is a very difficult model. You know, I had a blog for 10 years and it was great and fun to run and obviously got quoted all over the place. But an online model is really tough because people have to really come onto the blog every day or website, or so you have to like create that daily traffic, or you have to have like constant links that are driving people there, and the algorithms on places like Twitter and Facebook have made that so much more difficult. So as I've looked more and more into it, what I've really discovered is I think that the model of the news of the future is going to be a little bit retro. I think that that the best way to reach people is going to be both an online model that includes texting and other new features, but also an older model that includes a print edition. And print editions are really difficult because you got to either have subscribers or you have to have distributors, and obviously as a startup that's really difficult. So what the game plan is as of right now is we are going to be launching a monthly newspaper that's going to be serving parts of Northern Virginia and hopefully quickly expanding to be even greater than that. And this monthly paper is going to be delivered via mail. So people will get it in their mailbox that are in the selected areas. I'm not sure that there will be any subscriber option. There may be some additional options for ways for people to interact with it that are not in the areas that get selected, which we are working on. But I don't foresee there being a subscriber model right now. I think that just takes too much time, resources, and effort. So we're going to be sending this out to people that are in the selected area and testing this as a market for a monthly news source. George says, good luck. Thank you, George. And so that's been the big project I've been working on, securing funding for it, securing people to do columns and reporting for it, to working on what all of that looks like. Matt says, know someone who might be a good idea to bounce off a person who's DC market. Well, Matt, let me just jump in and say, if Swengali would like to make a comeback, Swengali is very welcome at our new entity. So shoot me a message. We'll talk about it. So basically, what my vision for this is like to have a place where people can really get more local and state information, because I think that as we saw in the pandemic, people were really looking for places to connect with their community. And in our area, at least here in Northern Virginia, the Washington Post is an incredible resource. We have one of the greatest newspapers in the world here that's a daily, but it's a daily newspaper. It covers the news of the day, and so there's not a lot of analysis that's in the Washington Post, right? And there's not a lot of detailed local coverage of what's really happening, but there is a good daily news source. It's a great newspaper. What we're trying to do with our new project is really be in a way complementary to that, where these are going to be longer form pieces that really go into detail on issues that give people the full background versus the day-to-day news. Part of the reason for that is that the model of doing a monthly requires sort of going to print probably 8 days before people actually receive it. And so you really can't get into, well, this happened today, this is the news of the day. It has to be a broader entity that is, looking at issues more broadly. So anyway, that's my big announcement. So more to come on that. We're going to be hopefully launching in the next month or so. I've been working on that. I actually resigned from the local Democratic committee a couple months ago to start preparing for this. I think, as everyone knows, I'm a Democrat and believe in democratic ideals, and I'm very progressive. But I think to be able to run a local news type of entity that, and this is a lot of people, have been involved in this. So I don't want to start naming names, but I want to thank, everyone who's been involved to date already. But to do that, I think really requires not being a member of a committee and signing a pledge that says that, how I'm going to vote or think or whatever. So that's the big announcement. And I really am hoping that, lots of you will reach out to me and let me know, like, if you want to be involved in it, how you can be involved. It's going to be a community-driven effort. It's going to be something that I think will be different than anything that people have seen before in terms of a local news source. It's going to use a totally different model. We're going to have a texting model, we're going to have an email model, and we're going to have an online version. But there will be, I think that it will be driven around the print edition that I hope will start small and expand out. While Teresa Champion says, love this idea. Thank you, Teresa. So what we're thinking is we're going to start it in the central Fairfax area, and then we're going to expand from there. So there's a lot of different directions to go out there. And I think that as you look at the local news sources around here, there's a bunch of them, but like they fit pockets. And outside of the Washington Post and its really great daily coverage, I think that some of the local information has really turned into a cheerleading section for local officials. I don't think they're interested in actually journalism of what's going on. I think that the interest is in getting people to access journalism, people to return their calls, to be able to just create some basic content and sell some advertising. And that's not what this new entity is going to be. We're going to be about really pushing interesting issues. There's a bunch of them that I have that sort of put together already of things that we can go really in depth on and talk about. Eddie said, are there events for you and others for the campaign? Eddie, I don't know what you're talking about, so you have to tell me what events you're asking about there. So happy to take any other questions people